Hello everyone and welcome to my bullet journal setup for January of 2023. If you hear a weird noise, it's my cat purring. She's sitting on my lap as I'm doing the voiceover. Hopefully that'll be a nice ASMR if you can listen to that. Sorry for this coming out already in the beginning of the month. I meant to post it still at the end of December, but the holidays had me busy and sick. If you watched my 2023 plan with me video, you'll probably notice the state of my voice. If you haven't watched that yet, I'll still link it up here. It might come in handy for those of you that are still setting up for the beginning of the year. But yeah, you're probably thinking, why a lemonade theme? January is winter. This is very summery. And well, first of all, I usually make January spreads and themes that line up with like winter vibes. Problem is, in my mind, winter is very much like an ending energy and like very stagnant. So I come to find that I usually make those January themes like very wintry, very like pale blues and, you know, aligned with that kind of vibe. And then I end up, first of all, hating them. Second of all, not using them because I'm usually in a state of energy at the end of January where I'm very hopeful for the year and I want to make changes and I want to start fresh in certain things, and so I'm just not aligned with the vibe that's going on in my spreads because I'm just aligning the themes with what's going on outside in the world and not what's going on within myself, if that makes sense. So here's a lemonade. It's very vibrant, it's very colorful, it's very fresh in a way, and I don't know, it feels a lot more aligned with fresh beginnings than wintry themes. Also, if you're watching this from the southern hemisphere, I hope that maybe you'll appreciate that this theme kind of goes on with the season that's going on in your country, hopefully. Yeah. And also, when I was trying to pick out a theme, I was thinking about things that I have personally done in January of past years and in 2021. After the mess that was 2020, I got a tattoo on my arm that is a mason jar of lemonade, and it says, "When life gives you lemons." 2020 had me. 2020 grabbed me by the neck and didn't let go right until the end of the year, and it was a crazy year for everyone. But in my case, it was really bad. I'm not going to bore you with too many details, and I also don't want to get too into them, but at the end of the year, my dad passed away, and so it was a really tough year. And also, I didn't realize how meaningful that tattoo would become to me, because what I came to find throughout the year of 2021 was that I was putting myself in such a victim mentality without even noticing it, and kind of just waiting for things to magically become better and for things to change without actually taking any action to change them, in the sense that I would be like, well, right now I'm not doing anything because I'm mourning my dad. And then, well, now, you know, I could start working on things, but I still kind of feel sad about this. Or now my health is kind of not great. Or right now I have problems at work. And right now this, and right now that. And I was constantly waiting for things to be peaceful for me to get working on other things that I wanted to do. And what happened was, basically I went through the entire year of 2021 not doing anything of the things that I actually wanted to do that actually were important to me, because I was always kind of waiting for the moment to be right and for life to stop throwing me at the mat, you know. And it didn't really stop, and I was like, well, if I am gonna be waiting for life to give me a break, I'm gonna be waiting for forever. And so I've kind of been really embracing that at the end of 2022, sorry. And I really want to bring this mindset into 2023, that whatever happens, whatever life throws at me, whatever lemons I'm given, I will have to make lemonade. I will have to make something good out of it. I cannot keep on like just blaming outside things and using them as an excuse as to why I'm not working towards the things that I actually want to do. I need to, you know what, enter a mentality of I cannot control what I'm given, but I can control what I do with it. And yeah, life gives me lemons, I will make lemonade. Life gives me hurdles, I will try to find a way to either go around them or to go over them and still do the things that I want to do. So yeah, that went a little bit too deep for just the explanation of a theme, but that's the mentality that I'm bringing into 2023. And if this resonates with you, I hope that you'll like this theme and maybe use it for yourself. Bit of a fair warning, I went a bit experimental with the colors and the themes. Not in the themes and the spreads, sorry. Like, I kept on going back and forth between the colors that I used. First of all, I wanted to try it for myself, to try like the different combinations possible, and I really like the end result, and also maybe to give you guys options on which color combinations you would like to use. And so yeah, for the first time in a while, I've changed up my meal planner, and if you watch previous videos of mine, you will have seen that the meal planner usually have a cycle syncing list of foods that you should eat for every phase of your menstrual cycle. I'm not writing that down here because I've written it for like the past 2 months, so it feels like just repeating myself. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be referring back to those months to have that list again, and then when I move into a new notebook for the rest of 2023, I'm just going to have that information as a spread for the year at the beginning of the notebook that I can just refer back to, instead of having to write the same thing over and over again throughout the year for every month. This meal planner works a little bit differently in the sense that I decided to plan it by weeks, and those little boxes that are blank, I'm going to be writing down my work schedule. And if I'm at work or at home, because I have a hybrid work mode, because if I'm going to the office, I need to set up food to take with me, and that will have to be prepared like the day before or the morning, depending on my schedule. And if I'm at home, well, I don't have to worry as much, and I thought it would actually be very useful to have that into consideration for my meal planning, so that I have a better idea of what meals I have to prepare by when. Does that make sense? So yeah, and also I had a freezer inventory because I'm actually working with a lot of frozen food at the moment, and I don't want to lose track of what I have on there when I'm meal planning. Going on to highlights and affirmations and gratitude, kind of decided to switch this up. I usually have the highlights in the monthly log. I decided to move them because I realized that I wasn't using them in my monthly log, and I figured that maybe if I have them next to my gratitude spread, maybe that'll work a little bit better. So yeah, decided to decrease the space for my affirmations a little bit more. I figured that I don't really use my affirmations as much as I thought I would, so a full page doesn't justify it. And for my gratitude, I actually decided to decrease the space a little bit more, because even though I do use it quite a bit, I don't use the entire page. If you don't know, I use a B5 notebook, so this is considerably bigger than an A5 notebook, so that's why I don't use it as much like a B5 page. It's rather big. For my gratitude page, I decided to switch it up a little bit and add prompts. So if I'm kind of struggling to find something to be grateful for in that day, whether it's because it's a bad day or because I don't want to keep on saying that I'm grateful for the same thing, and I actually want to reflect more on things that I am really grateful for in my life, I can look at the prompts and maybe find some information to kind of journal a little bit more about how I'm grateful for those things. And I wrote both like things that are good and things that are bad. Like I have on there a rejection or a bad person, because you know what, those situations actually teach you a lot, and they might be blessings in disguise. So I wrote those down as well. I feel like that was important. Going in for my sleep tracker, this is a big change. I'm changing this for the first time in like a year, I think, or more. Probably more than that. I've been doing my sleep tracker the same way for a long time now, and I decided that, you know what, it's not working. It's not working. It's not working that well. I usually get to a point where I'm not filling it out anymore, either because I go like a day or two without filling it out and that I don't really remember anymore, and I figured I needed to change a little bit. So what I did was I wrote down, instead of having such a defined table, in the sense that I don't have to draw out the hours of my sleep, I don't have to draw it out, I can just like dot it. What I'm gonna do is I have the list of hours there, and I'm basically gonna like put dots on the hours that I slept for, and then fill out the rest. I have the stars for the quality. I'm actually trying to be a bit more into naps in January. I find that naps really help me with my energy levels. So I do have a column there to mention if I had a nap or not. But yeah, and a little space to write down how many hours I slept for, so I can have a visual representation of it was 7 hours, 8, whatever. And my mood tracker, I changed it up a little bit more, so that I can have a bit more of a journaling side about what changed my mood. But yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, that page. Going on from my productivity page, I have made a productivity log in December. If you guys want to take a look at that, I will link the video up here. But yeah, I decided to do it again because I really like the concept, even though it probably wasn't the best month to try a productivity log, because I feel like maybe it's just me, but I'm pretty low on productivity in December. The holidays make me very, very low on production, especially because of all of the food. But yeah, so here's the thing. I have a productivity tracker in the sense that I will track if my productivity was high, medium, or low. I have my path to success, which, if you notice, I have a path to success on my monthly log. The difference between those is the one on the monthly log is for my hypothetical projection of my path to success at the beginning of the month, and this one is more to like troubleshoot or to adjust as a month goes by. Does that make sense? I have my goals there again, just so that I can have them clearly in mind when I'm planning for my productivity and tracking it. Small steps is for like breaking down goals into smaller and more achievable goals, so that I can take it a little bit easier with myself and not be so harsh on my progress, I guess. Productivity journal is just like to journal about things that I was proud of for doing or for accomplishing. And yeah, and I really like this. I think it turned out really cute. Meditation log. I actually decided to switch it up. In December, I made a table, which, if I'm being honest, I didn't really like, and because I didn't really like it, didn't really use it. And for this one, what I'm doing, because the thing is, when you make a table for something that you probably don't do every single day, and you notice so many blank spots, kind of demotivates you. At least it does for me. So what I did was I set it up in the way that I can just fill it out if I meditate on that day, and that way the blank spaces aren't as like accusatory, I guess you could say. Also, because sometimes I don't meditate for like 3 days on end, and then I will have days where I meditate twice the same day. And so this actually allowed me to track those 2 meditations on the random days where I decide to meditate twice. Does that make sense? Also, apologies for the random color changes and changes of like my sleeves. I didn't film this whole thing throughout one day. I take a considerable amount of time making my spreads. I don't know if I'm just slow or if I just make my life harder, but this entire setup, I had about 7 hours of footage. Yeah, it's a lot. My habit tracker is pretty much the same as always. I did go back after I filmed the setup and I added a pink drop shadow, which made it so much cuter, and I'm actually obsessed, and you will see it in the final flip through. It has the pink drop shadow in the final flip through. And for the weekly logs, I decided to make it a bit more simple, and since I'm trying to be a bit more economical with my bullet journal space for this journal, because I am using the same journal that I used for 2022. This will, in theory, last me until the end of March, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't accidentally use too many pages on weekly logs, so I decided to do a bi-weekly. Also because that means that I spend less time making weekly logs, so I just have to set up one for 2 weeks in a row, and then I have the second one which I'll make for week 3 and week 4. I like to number the weeks as weeks of the year and not weeks of the month. So after this month finishes, I'll have week 6, week 7, week 8, so on. We did this. I used to work at an H&M, and they did that for like business purposes, and I really liked it for some reason. It kind of gave me an idea of how many weeks are already gone by for the year, so I do that. And here is the final flip through. I did like go back and erase any pencil lines, and I did tweak some things. Like I said, I added the drop shadow and the habit tracker, which you will see. I went for easy peasy lemon squeezy. I don't know, I kind of want to bring that vibe into the month. I'm really happy with the illustrations, and it's kind of wild. A few days back I went back looking at some of my first bullet journals in like 2018, and it's insane to see the progress. And both my drawing and the way that I set up my spreads, I'm way more focused on how they work for me instead of them being for show, which is insane because back then I only had them for myself, and now I actually post them on social media. And yet now I'm more focused on how they work for me rather than just being performative. Look at that habit tracker. It's so cute with that drop shadow in pink. It's so adorable. And yeah, guys, I hope you really enjoyed and that maybe this gave you some cool ideas. Thank you for watching. Bye!